What up, G Life? It's your boy, him Shadow, back at you with another video. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, check out the playlist. The playlist where I have all my videos in their own folders, makes the video you're looking for a lot easier. Don't forget to tap on the subscribe, the like. It's free. It don't cost anything. You'll be helping my channel out a lot. You know what I mean? Get into the algorithm. Now, I'm here to answer one of the questions that I was asked by one of my subscribers, which is, what is my thoughts on high power records? Now, I'm gonna give my honest opinion with no bias. You know what I mean? Though we do have my views and etc. and blah blah blah. But I'm here to just call it for what it is. Now, High Power is a label, a Chicano rap label that's well known. You know what I mean? It's well recognized, in different states, not just here in California, but throughout different states, Arizona, Oklahoma, Texas, and etc. So they do the thing, you know what I mean? It's a label that's, started and ran by Mr. Capone, you know what I mean? Which is a group of different, homies from different barrios, that come together to do Chicano rap, obviously. Now, I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm a super fan or whatever. I do own their albums. Even if some of the albums, I don't like them, you know what I mean? I still do my part in supporting the raza, you know what I mean? I don't got to bump them. I just do, do my part, just to help support because, got to support the pound, and I collect Chicano rap. Nonetheless, I still give any artist a chance, you know what I mean? Because they might wow me, you know what I mean? You can never judge an artist based on just one or songs. You got to give a few songs, You got to scope out a few. But I'm not going to sit here and say that, there's rolas are chingon. And they have some artists that are good. And then they have had some artists that were not good. And I understand. I get it. That's the homie. They were probably torcido with homie. And hey, jump on the album, just to, help out homie. Or, just to put him up. But see, the thing is that you damage your product and all of that by doing stuff like that. And when you put people that don't know how to rap on your tracks, like, that's the homie, and I get it, you're trying to help out, but he has to understand too that like you're trying to put some quality stuff out there, you know what I mean? Like, you're trying to get people to vibe, and because a lot of them don't go with the beat, you know what I mean? So a lot of them tend to write the rola without even hearing the beat. I don't even know why the people do that. You can't do that. You have to hear the beat while writing the song. That way you're going with it. You can't just write the rola and try to make it fit onto a beat that you just hear. It's not gonna work. Because it's got to have rhythm and everything like that. Like, if you're forcing it in there, you're going to be able to tell, because you're going to have to try to be speeding up or slowing down and all that, because you're just trying to get the song that you wrote to fit, to that beat, which is never good, because it's going to sound forced. It's not going to sound like if it's going smooth like a symphony. It's going to sound like if you just half-assed it, you know what I mean? And, people could hear that, they want to hear quality, and they could tell. You get what I mean when it comes to lyrically wise. So a lot of them went off beat, but they have a lot of good artists too. You know what I mean? Like, they had Mr. Criminal, Mr. Silent, Big Locote. Even though he was a little bit too extreme or whatever, he had talent in rapping. You know what I mean? He did have skills. Malo Mac. There was a few, but there was a few that I wasn't a fan of. Like certain of them. You know what I mean? Mr. Capone has a brilliant, obviously, mind for this, and getting stuff together. I think he's a good producer, like putting stuff together, like knowing how to build the tracks, the beats, how to get stuff like that together. His rapping, I'm not so much of a fan of, you know what I mean? But he's not like trash, you know what I mean? He could hold his own on a rola, just depends the type of beat and the type of, vibe that he's doing, you know what I mean? So because I have heard him spit some shit, you know what I mean? So it just depends. But for me, it's all right, you know what I mean? Like I said, but when it comes to like putting rolas together and the beat and everything like that, I think he's got the mental for it, you know what I mean? I think when people criticize him, they don't see that part of the aspect to it, you know what I mean? They gotta view that as well, not just the rapping, because he's more than that, because he's running the show. So, and it's not easy, homie, you can imagine. So the stress of that and writing rola, you get what I mean? Of that. But I'm not gonna say, look, and there's one thing I'll say. Right here in Southern California, at least right here in the motherland, homies ain't really bumping Chicano rap. They're really not. I hardly know any homies that were hearing High Power down here, or hearing Chicano rap in general. No homies were hearing Chicano rap. No homies were bumping High Power. Maybe in other states they were, or in Northern California, or or stuff like that. But like homies down here, they weren't they weren't bumping that. I'm just being real, you know what I mean? You just had a few homies here and there, like me, for example. But not that many homies, were bumping them. They weren't feeling them. Um, they weren't feeling them, and I already gave the reasons for it. You know what I mean? Because it just seems different from how we carry ourselves and how homies are supposed to carry themselves. This is the opposite. Like for example, one of the you know, a well famous DVD that they dropped was No Warning Shots. We had a bunch of different barrios on there talking shit about one individual, which is I don't even know what to say to that. I don't even know. I don't even understand that. Look, I get it. You support their music and what they do and stuff like that, but like if high power beefs it with an individual, I'm not gonna talk shit about that individual just because I like their music and they have beef. You know what I mean? That's not my pedo. That's not my issue. You know what I mean? I don't know, homie. I don't even know what the beef's about. I don't even know nothing for me to be, talking shit or voicing my opinion or getting my homies involved and all of that. Like, for what? Like, why are we gonna be right here talking shit about an individual we don't even know? You know what I mean? Just because you like their music, that makes no sense. Homies don't conduct themselves like that. You know what I mean? If there's vatos that have pedos, that's between them. You know what I mean? It's none of your business. That's between their barrios or their squad. So for you to be throwing yourself on there, and second, you don't do it like on phone or camera and everything. There's nothing gangster about that. Being a cell warrior. Like homies don't like when vatos wolf it. They just want homies to go handle it. Don't talk about it, be about it. You know what I mean? Homies just want them to go and handle business. They don't want them to just be yapping this and this and that. Like what is that for? Is that for the audience? Is that just to try to act like, or to show people that you gangster? Like it's a show. It's like a facade. It's an act. And I think it rubbed like that off. When I would ask homies, like, man, why don't you like them? 9 times out of 10, that's the response that I got. Like, man, it's fucking acts. Like, why are they doing all this? Like, it's a fucking show. It's a circus. That's the response I was getting, by a lot of homies. You know what I mean? Because when we would kick it in different spots, you know what I mean, with different homies from different neighborhoods, and I would be playing my music, and they'll be like, man, hey Shadow, put some Dr. Dre, put some Exhibit, man, take that shit off, dog. Them fake ass fools. And I'll be like, man, why, dog? Like, you don't even know them vatos. How do you know they fake? Like, man, they're over here putting up a circus on front of cameras. How you gonna tell somebody you're gonna pop that fool? Like, you're already in camera. Like, homie, that's some lame shit. Like, it was rubbing homies off the wrong way. My older homies too. My older homies, I already knew not to bump it in front of them. I already knew them fools were not gonna. They didn't want to hear it. And a lot of my homies my age too, they didn't want to hear it either. You know what I mean? And I get it. You know what I'm saying? I guess like I said, I don't know individuals from, like, if I don't know that individual, I can't say that individual's a bitch, a punk, a fake, or anything. I don't know that vato. He could be, he could not be. I didn't know Snapper for me to say he's a bitch or he's fake. I don't know that vato. You know what I mean? But for me to be right, wolfing a good one, like why? Making up stories and how he's a bitch, like, I don't even know if he is or not. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even know what the pedo's about, so why would I voice my opinion on it? Like, real homies weren't doing that, and real homies weren't teaching their homies to do that. You know what I mean? Real homies don't conduct themselves like that. You never speak of, you never talk it. You know what I mean? Like, you don't gotta be like, hey, fuck you, puto, watch when I get. You don't gotta do all that. Just let it be. And then when you see them, you don't gotta even say nothing, my boy. You just, and then you don't talk about it after either. Like, oh man, hell yeah, I got that for you. That's it, homie. You move on with your day. He moves on with his day. There's no reason why to brag about it or talk about it. Nobody needs to know. And you ain't, high and mighty for doing it. Hey, my boy, you acting like if homies haven't done that, if homies haven't smashed or anything like that. So homies ain't gonna be impressed. So relax. Hey, ájale, compa. That's freedom, man. You handle your thing. That's homies don't really want to be hearing about it. Homies don't like when homies talk. Like, this vato really thinks he's hard. He thinks he's badass. When you're trying to give off that vibe, homies ain't feeling that. No, they're not gonna feel you. You know what I mean? You don't get yourself in a wreck, or homies gonna put you in that situation. Since you think you're so bad, they gonna put you on that frontline status. Like, let's see how bad you really could get. You know what I mean? Like, homies don't like all those charades and shenanigans. They don't, because everyone has done it. Everyone has put in their work and done their thing. So for the vatos to be like bringing up, like if no one else has done it right there, it's like, come on now, bro. So it comes off like weird to some individuals, a lot of individuals. You know what I mean? So that DVD, like, kind of, was like, so a lot of homies down here weren't probably like, because they really know how it is. They really know how it goes, how it is, and what they will. Some of the homies, that I kick it with, like from covert, that, hey man, what's up with this for always this in the red, homie? Like, I'm proud of my red. And it's like, hey, I don't know, homie. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, they were talking without knowing, and a lot of people were hearing these. A lot of these, young gang members were hearing this and thinking that that's how homies are supposed to conduct themselves and behave and what they're supposed to say when it wasn't like that. It was nothing like that. It was the opposite of that, but since I guess they look up to these vatos, they thought that that's the way it was. But I honestly don't know why it was going down like that. Like I said, if it's homies beefs, that's their pedos. I'm not gonna be hating on somebody just because these fools beefing with them. Like, what the hell? What does that have to do with my barrio? How's my barrio gonna benefit off of it, or how does this have anything to do with with any of that? It doesn't. You know what I mean? You don't see barrios in the streets beefing it with each other because this vato dissed this was favorite rapper, or just because or even homies to look. If I have pedo with somebody, I'm not gonna go ask like homies that I know, like that I talk to. Hey homie, hey, since we're cool, can you diss that vato too? Like, no, you handle your own pedos. You know what I mean? You don't go and try to pull everybody into the mix. You handle your own scandals. So I think that's what was rubbing off people the wrong way. But successfully, either way, they were doing their thing. They had talented artists. Since then, several artists have left and done their own and started their own label, like the Crime Family with Mr. Criminal, and etc. like that. And since then, they have gotten new artists, so they're still doing their thing. They're still pushing it, and hey, as long as they're succeeding, homie, and gotta support the brown. And as long as they're doing their thing, getting their paper. You know what I mean? And their quality of music has gotten better. You know what I mean? It's a learning step. In the beginning it's gonna be rough because you're barely starting. So you learn as you go. Your skills start improving. Your beats, your producing, all of that. Gets better with time, homie. With time, dog. You know what I'm saying? Let's not act like Dr. Dre's original stuff, the mixtapes were the kind of shit, that he was dropping when we're talking about the Chronic album. It's two whole different. You see how he started learning with time. Start perfecting your craft. Tupac's first rolas didn't sound nothing like his later stuff. So you improve with time. So hey, people were patient with them. You gotta be patient with that raza too, homie. You know what I mean? And they're learning from scratch. They're literally learning from scratch. So, hey, I think, right now, I think it's the best time, for Chicano rap. I think homies finally understand, what goes behind not just rhyming, but everything else that has to do with it. You know what I mean? The storytelling, the rhythms, the keeping up with the beat, the conducting, the metaphors, the where to fade it out, where to fade it in, where implicating their own ideas and rolling with the beat, where to stop, where to go, when to slow it down. Woo! I think they're finally understanding that, because before they thought just because they could rhyme some words and they're just right there reading it, and they're rhyming, but it just sounds like they're reading it. It has no vibe to it. It's just like, okay, homie's rhyming and everything, but it's got no rhythm. It's got no story. It's just, that's one of the things that I didn't like about, rap in Spanish before, that it was just a bunch of random rhyming words that were rhyming. Like, homie's rhyming, but it's not even telling a story. He's just throwing some random shit. Like, it's just everywhere. You know what I mean? Yeah, from the bar to chopping somebody off to chilling with their hyena to like what the hell's going on right here? Like, it's not even no story. It's just like everywhere, like just because it could be like fuerte and suerte and muerte, like vatos be like, oh man, that's just gangster. Like, that's not rap. That's not music, bro. Dr. Seuss could do that. It has everything. There's more to it than just that. But they're doing their thing. shit, homie, you know, I wish them nothing but success and the best, homie. And yeah, support them. You know, I buy their albums. Some of them I don't hear, you know what I mean? But I still do, you know, my part, you know. I ain't no hater. But that's just my opinion and my overall perspective on it. Shadow Weed.